to allow an African Americans group to form, to allow a Gen Yers group to form. And what companies are finding with these resource groups is that they are rich in terms of ideas. And again, coming to the company and saying, hey, we've identified this issue. We have this idea for solving it. Can we get the resources to implement it? Be clear on your vision, mission, and strategy so that teams and individuals can align with that. So if you do not have a clear vision, mission statement for your company, get one. And then get teams working to talk about how can we align with this? How can we contribute to this? We talked about the CEO roundtables. We talked about your intranet. If you have a chief diversity officer, anyone here have a chief diversity officer? Okay, well, as you grow, you may get one. Make sure that they are not a part of your HR function, but they are a part of your business development function. CDOs were originally created as part of an HR function. They are now moving into business development because they have tremendous expertise, skill, and insight in tapping into a diverse workforce and saying, how can we solve business problems using this rich brain power that we have? My last and final point is have a clear diversity strategy. If you don't have one, it doesn't have to be complex, but get one. The more diverse your workforce, the more successful your company will be. It's not that it won't be challenging, but it will be successful. I love this quote from Tom Peters. Creativity and great leaps forward come from mix, match, and mess. That is, all kinds of people providing all kinds of ideas that crazily bounce against one another and cause a lot of chaos and eventually cause a great idea to emerge that changes the world. Thank you. Can I take any questions from here? Okay, great. Any questions? Or what questions can I answer? Yes.
I don't remember which generation, but isn't one of the generations prone to jumping around, dot.
Gen Y.
Okay, so if you decide to do this reverse mentoring or succession planning,
Yeah.
and you match up, now it would be either war or baby boomer generation, 2 generations down.
Yeah.
Generation one. How do you ensure that they're not taking that mentoring and going somewhere else?
Great. Well, the thing about Gen Yers is that they are also extremely loyal. And if they feel engaged and treated fairly, you will tend to have a much stronger chance of retaining them. So that is, excuse me, it's a great question. And it's, a lot of companies now are looking at how do we retain Gen Yers. And the way you retain them is to give them a voice in the company, let them feel engaged, let them have some kind of voice in driving business success, and make them feel recognized and rewarded. Be flexible in saying, you know what, you've done a great job, take a month off and go travel. If you can, and that all has to be negotiated. But my point to that is, think outside the box. No, not with pay. They won't necessarily need pay, but they will appreciate being rewarded in ways other than promotion or bonuses. So be creative and ask them, what would you want? And then see how you can fit that into your structure. Yeah? What other questions can I answer? Yes?
1, 2, or 3 barriers to success that you've experienced in going to companies when you introduce this diversity strategy.
1, 2, or 3 barriers. Yeah. Well, the first one is conflict. So you are going to have conflict, and be prepared for that. And you need to give them conflict training so that they can learn not only healthy conflict strategies, but also creative, because conflict is a creative force. So get people to be healthy, or comfortable with conflict, and then healthy in how they do it. The other is inclusion, because, and that's not just multi-generational, that's diversity. That when you start to bring diversity into your company, there are the minorities who could feel excluded. So you have to use inclusion techniques, many of which are up here, in terms of CEO roundtables, letting people start resource groups, giving everyone a voice, letting people innovate around the business so that they feel included in the business. But I would say those are the two biggest ones, are inclusion and conflict. Any other questions? Or what other questions? Great. One back there. Yes?
For a long time, the thought was, you can't have everybody play a part. And
Yeah.
it's a business, and not everybody can have a voice
Yes.
in certain decisions. So how do you help, upper management to determine which things are acceptable and
Yeah.
should be fomented, as opposed to the other where you need to learn the position you are in the company and stay.
Yes. Start small. Just start small. Don't leave here and immediately go, we're completely changing how we do things in our company. But start small. I have a client who is he's very traditional in his leadership style. His company they've added 300 employees in the past 18 months, so they're growing very quickly. And I just convinced him to at least hold CEO roundtables with some of the directors in the company. That's one step forward. I've also convinced their HR director to use Yammer. So to put Yammer. But those are two small things, but it's amazing how just those small, tiny steps have a huge impact. Remember that in many cases, it's not so much that the CEO acts on the ideas, it's just that people feel they're able to contribute them and to have a voice. But start small. Take one of these ideas back and use them. And if that works, then do another one. Or the other thing I'm doing with another company, I just implemented a mentoring program for them that involves peer mentoring groups, reverse mentoring, and then the traditional mentoring. But we started very small. They're a company of about 800 employees. We started with a small pilot. So we did 10 mentees and 6 mentors. And we made sure that that was running fabulously first before we launched it company-wide. So tiny steps. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing some of you in the virtual Teams workshop later today as well. Thank you.
Okay, so why don't we take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll get to the breakout sessions, and we'll try to catch up over the next 2 sessions. Maybe start this one in 5 minutes, and then the other one, that'll maybe 10 minutes late, and then we should be back on track. So 5 minutes from now, and then 11:40 for the next one. Thank you.
My name's John Coney.
John,